Erev Tov. There are many ideas and lessons that can be learned from the Bnot Slavchad. The Bnot Slavchad in the Parsha of Pinchas. So there we learned all the halachas about inheritance. In this week's Parsha, at the end of Maseh, the Torah describes for us that the heads of the tribe of Manasseh came to Moshe Rabbeinu in response to what was going on with the Bnot Slavchad, because now they knew that the daughters of Slavchad were going to be heirs to property. And they said, what happens if they marry men that are not of the tribe of Manasseh? They'll marry men outside of our tribe. And by the degree of the laws of inheritance, if they predecease their husbands, then their husbands will inherit the property. And therefore, the land that belonged now to Shevet and Manasseh will pass to a different Shevet. Well, that's called Maver Nachla, to move over the inheritance of the tribes. And therefore, that was their complaint, that you said the Cain B'not Slavchad Dovros, whatever they say is correct, and they're going to inherit, and they're going to get, but they're going to get to our detriment, to the detriment of the general tribe, because the property that they own, the property that was allotted to the family of Slavchad, eventually can pass to different tribes, can pass out of our control. Therefore, that's not fair. So here we have a basic question. First of all, the question is, can they marry anybody they want? Does the child have that right? So according to halacha, the child has a right. The parent has no right to interfere in the choice of the mate that the child makes. Whether or not that's practical or not is a different issue. But as far as the halacha is concerned, that's not involved even in kibbut ovei. So therefore, the question arose, since they are going to marry, and they'll marry people outside of the Shevet will suffer. So that's a general moral question. Can I drill a hole in the bottom of the boat of my seat when the water will flood the whole boat? What is the limits to my freedom? as it affects the society generally, or the family, or the tribe. And that's an issue that is constantly in play. So they brought the issue to Moshe. And Moshe brought the issue, so to speak, to heaven, as to what policy should be followed here. So the Torah says here an interesting thing. Katov beineihem tiyenu l'noshim. It's up to them. Whoever finds favor in their eyes, they are allowed to marry them. The woman has freedom of choice. However, the Torah here does something that is very unique and requires a certain sophistication. The Torah makes a suggestion. A suggestion is not a mitzvah. It's not an order. It's not something that you must do. It's a recommendation that they should marry within the tribe. They should look for spouses that are within the tribe of Menashe. And by so doing, the issue will be resolved in a practical fashion, not in a legal question, but in a practical manner. They'll marry somebody from Menashe, so no matter what happens, the property will remain in the tribe of Menashe. Katov beineihem. But they can do what they want. The Torah says it's up to them. They can do whatever they want. However, I'm giving you a recommendation what to do. The Gemara says that, Rashi quotes it here, that the Bnot Tzlofchad were chachmoniyos. They were very intelligent, bright people. So to speak, they took the hint. So they married into their tribe. They took the recommendation. Even though they have the perfect freedom to do whatever they want to do. And they don't have to be limited as to who they marry. We see another issue like this in Parshas Balak by Bilam. The officers of Balak come to Bilam and they make him an offer. And he says, I have to find out if heaven will allow me to go. Can't go without the consent of heaven. So what happens is that he has a vision and he asks, should I go? And he hears a voice that says, Lo Selechi Mohem. Don't go with them. So the Meforshim say that's not a mitzvah. He didn't have a commandment from heaven. He has the freedom of choice. But if you ask my advice, so to speak, so I tell you, don't go, because you'll be unsuccessful. You'll be unable to accomplish your mission. He comes back and he tells the officers of Midian, of Balak, Moab, that I can't go. So when they come back to Bullock, and Bullock sends a better delegation, more high aristocratic representation, and he makes them a grandiose offer. Meet in Li Bullock, Lo Beso, Kesef Vizor. And now he goes. He agrees and he goes. So all the Meforshim deal with the question, if heaven told him not to go, then why is he going now? And why does heaven allow him to go? If the opinion of heaven is that he shouldn't have gone, so prevent him from going. And the answer is that it wasn't a mitzvah. It was not a commandment from heaven. It was a recommendation. Should I take this job or not? Sometimes people ask. So you recommend what you think is best for the person. But the person himself has the ultimate choice to do what he wants. Just like by the Bnei Slavchon, that they have the ultimate choice to do what they want. They have the ultimate choice to marry anybody they wish. Katov le'inaim tiyenu l'noshim. But they took the hint. If you are looking for a recommendation, then you have to be willing to accept the recommendation. And people that oftentimes are only looking for a confirmation of their own idea. They want someone to say, yeah, you're right, do what you want. That's Bilam. Bilam wants to go. Nothing will deter him. A talking donkey won't deter him. Broken ankle won't deter him. He wants to go. So if he wants to go, so Chazal say, "B'derech she'odam rotze leilech malichin oso." The attitude of heaven is the road that you want to go on, that's the road you can go on. Heaven does not interfere. The idea of bechira chofshis, freedom of choice, on which is built the entire principle of sachar v'onesh and right and wrong. It's not fated for you as to what to do. It's up to you. But the Torah makes recommendations. Person would be wise often to listen to the recommendations, even though the person knows that he or she is not bound to. But nevertheless, that's the idea of chochmonios, people that have intelligence. Be wise to hear what other people have to say. Consult. Follow that and to behave accordingly. So here we have this example. Recommendation. There's a great Rav here in Shari Chesed, Rav Rosenthal, Zecher Tzaddik L'Bracha. So if he asked him a shaila, he never said it's kosher or not kosher, it's also mutter. He never said that. He would say, in my opinion, it's not for you. Nicht for you. So that's a recommendation. He don't want to tell you what to do, but he gave you a recommendation. So again, if a person has wisdom and insight, and a great person gives a recommendation, So that's something to pay attention to put it into the scale of weighing what to do. But if one is only looking to have one's own opinion confirmed, in other words, my mind is made up, so then that's useless. And there's no use asking, which is what the story was with Bilam. And that's why the Torah includes this story here. This idea by the Bnot Slavcha, not only because they want to teach us the laws of Nachala and how inheritance works. That's certainly part of it. But there's an overriding issue here too. Freedom of choice. You can do what you want. But if you're already asking me, then this is my recommendation. This is what I say. And that should always be taken into consideration when such decisions have to be made.